The Intergalactic Soul, the Honorable Brother, the Revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Powerbombshells, episode 141. I am Mel. And joining me this week again, because she is the consummate official broad. We have an official third broad who can be on here anytime. It's Keela Cash, folks. Welcome back to the show.
I'm so happy to be back. I did not expect an in-show promotion live on the air, but I'm very humbled and thankful and very happy to fill in for Sam again as she continues to recover. So look at me running it back 2 weeks in a row, 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I guess I earned that promotion after all, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very happy to receive my honorary bombshell Christmas bonus as being an official bombshell.
I mean, at this point, you are official. Like, you can't be on this many times and not be like an official broad. So the broad family has expanded a little bit more. I mean, it's just too much fun, too many times. I mean, we had member berries conversations last week. I mean, you just can't, like, you're stuck here for life. Sorry. Hey, Brad, what's shaking?
Hi, Brad.
Brad's here. Welcome to the show. We are going to have some talks today about things related to wrestling, probably, I would assume, considering this is a wrestling show. I'm wearing my puffy hat here with the pointed top here. It's very, I don't know. All right, I got to ask you this before we get into wrestling. It's like, where do you stand on holiday stuff? Are you like day after Thanksgiving person, or are you like after Halloween, it's on?
You know, I think that Thanksgiving doesn't get the respect it deserves anymore. That we just skip over Thanksgiving. We just skip over the meal and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and just say we're here for Christmas. I'm like, can we let Thanksgiving have its moment? I'm all about the day after Thanksgiving. The holiday begins officially for Christmas, Black Friday. I feel all seasonal after I eat a well-cooked meal for Thanksgiving. Let the turkey have its day, damn it.
You heard. I mean, seriously, like, so say we all. This is where I'm at. I am very pro, like, Thanksgiving is actually, I mean, it's one of my favorite meals of the year. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and the Lions are actually doing good, folks. So this is funny because it's Honolulu Blue. I didn't even realize that until just now. Oh, dear God, what's happening? I'm not bandwagon jumping, I swear. But it'll actually be a decent, like, Thanksgiving game potentially this year for everyone, like, because the Lions are doing well. I mean, I don't care about the Cowboys, but like the Lions are doing well. I love almost everything about it. I'm a big fan of, like, I use all the leftovers. Like, I make, soup stock and do the whole thing. So I'm like, I don't want to be wham-again before Thanksgiving is my point. I just don't. Like, it's going to happen probably on Black Friday. Can it happen on Black Friday? And just, like, I totally agree with you. Thank you. I feel better now knowing that not one of these, like, crazy, like, oh, no, turn on the Christmas music right now. I'm like, guys, it's still 50 out. Like, I mean, I know some of that's climate crisis, but that's not real, so we don't have to worry about that.
Oh my God.
It's fine. We'll be fine because that doesn't exist. So
is it El Nino coming this year?
There is, there's like that event and all kinds of fun stuff. It's so much fun. It's a good thing that is all a myth, because if it wasn't, we'd be in serious trouble. That's all I'm saying. The trees aren't like taking in enough carbon or whatever, but we're good.
My goodness.
I'm going to pop Brad's comment up here. He says, since I live with my mom-in-law, we're not allowed to decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving, which is fine. I love Thanksgiving. I'm fat and it's a holiday about eating. I mean, as long as you're comfortable, like I love it. It's my favorite. Like there's not I'm not a sweet potato fan, but that's really the only thing that I don't like. But Bob is, so it's not like they don't exist in our house. It's yeah. I but I think that that's the right thing. I think let it breathe, man. I mean, it's Black Friday for like 4 weeks now.
Exactly. Like we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I was like shopping online yesterday and like the Black Friday sales have already started. Like, are you kidding me? So now we've gone from like, we don't open on Thanksgiving to we're open on Thanksgiving. Then we reneged on that, but now Black Friday is like 2 weeks earlier. Get your deals in now. So wait a minute. So by the actual Black Friday, it's going to be down 95%?
I hope so.
Please.
It better be. And I mean, I told Bob earlier, I'm like, I hate to say it, but like, I'm shamelessly taking advantage because in this economy, you gotta. Like, I just don't care. It's like no ethical consumption under crony capitalism anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But it's like, so I worked in some form of retail, but everyone I've like my family, my husband are all retail people. And I think it's so interesting. This is like the perfect example of like what goes on. Black Friday used to be what the employees called it because it sucked working it. Like that's what we used to way back in the way back times before it was like branded and thrown up in July as a like it's Black Friday in July. I'm like, but why? Why is it Black Friday in July? But it used to be a literal, they took something that employees used to use as a like, it was me. It was not, we were not being nice when we were talking about Black Friday. And they turned it into a brand. Yes. And that is so American.
It really is the American way when you take something that is actually a negative and say, you know what, let's market this. Because even though you're here against your will, even though you really don't want to be here to help us make this money, damn it, it's Americana. And we're going to brand it. We're going to slash prices. We're going to have people rush in these stores. They're going to camp outside. People camped outside, y'all, for Tickle Me Elmo back in 96. True thing. God. Then in 97, they camped out for Furby.
I was there for the Cabbage Patch Revolution. The Great Cabbage Patch Uprising of 1989.
Oh, the Great Rush, fighting for those cute Cabbage Patch dolls. I still love them. Like, those dolls are precious. Like, I would probably swing on somebody for a Cabbage Patch doll.
Pretty funny. That's fantastic.
Like, I have like, such like a funny ankle story. Lock on someone for real.
I mean, I think you can. Actually, you probably can't. They're probably more unique than ever because they're like unique now. But oh my gosh, Pound Puppies. So I had a good friend back in the Tickle Me Elmo days. When that thing came out, it dropped in the summer. And she was like, this is going to be the hottest item, I guarantee you, at Christmas. So she bought 2. She bought a total of 3, 1 for herself and 2 extras that she set aside. And sure enough, she made a killing on selling those things for cash. Like, she made all her Christmas money she needed. Talk about, I was like, I'm listening to her from now on. Let's see here. We got Sam showing up in the comments. Sam says, she can't comment via her phone, but she's a little late, but I think we have some kind of a free bird brew with Kiela now. So, see, she's essentially backing me up. I mean, Sam and I weirdly are thinking the same thing a lot. Like, she'll say something to me, and I'll be like, that's exactly what I was going to say to you. So, see, it's confirmed. You are permanent resident, permanent bombshell. No longer graduated from honorary broad status. So, and Brad says hi to Sam and says he hopes you're healing up, which we both agree with. And Sam says her voice doesn't want to cooperate. I thought it was finally coming back, but I got played. It's no soup for you, Sam, says Brad. Thank you. And pops are all around. Yes, well done, Brad.
I love it.
Well done. It. Oh, dang. Poor Sam's voice. It'll be fine. It's sometimes it just takes a while. Everybody heals different. Plus, it's cold. It's getting cold. Like, and the weather, I'm sure, isn't like helping. And Sam, as we've talked about many times, we've had allergy corner here. We've had dermatology and allergy corner here many times. So everyone knows the score on how. I don't know. I think it might be that climate change or climate crisis myth thing again, but I don't know.
Not the myth.
It's Keela. The Earth is flat and climate crisis is a myth, and the Chinese have weather machines. Okay.
Oh yeah. What about those dangerous windmills?
Oh, those. Forget about those. And the 5G that I got when I got my COVID shots.
Yes.
Which I even have a good network. Like, I mean, I'm not here to like simp for any specific place, but my network's pretty solid, and I still have not like had really improved like long. I mean, we saw what happened last week where you almost had to like carry this thing to the end by yourself. So seriously.
And I was not ready. I was like, what happened? Mel disappeared into the ether. I was like, let me somewhat be prepared for moments like this.
Chinese weather machines. It all goes full circle. Oh, so good. Sam, you take your time, sweetheart. We love you. You don't have to worry about it when you feel better. Yeah. So for those of you who don't haven't seen, Sam has been sharing her journey online, which is cool and very nice of her because, you know, not everyone does. And that's their choice and they're totally entitled to that too. But ooh, we got a Nikki comment in here. Or Nikki says I sound like Roz from Monsters Inc., especially when I laugh. Okay, but that's kind of cute. You should be working that then. Because that is like the funniest that character. I worked with that lady in so many offices, so many years. Oh, that's so good. It's so good to even see you in the comments. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
Just nice to know that you're feeling well enough to joke around with us in comments and say hello. And you know, if you do decide to come back, what's this? She hopes I sound. She says. She hopes I sound like Ross forever. You gotta get you have glasses and everything. You could play that up.
Yes. Like now your voice has that texture to do that. I would roll with it.
Sam, I gotta tell you this because this has been my experience with everything, including the hat situation. Okay, you don't choose the gimmick. The gimmick chooses you.
Yes.
It's just like a Harry Potter wand.
A sorting hat situation that Mel is wearing, like a hybrid sorting hat and Home Alone. It's giving very Macaulay right now.
Until you said it to me, I didn't think about it.
And because we're going back in the bag so much, okay, one of my greatest Christmas gifts ever received in life was the Talk Boy pin. And when I brought the Talk Boy pin to school, it got confiscated because I used it in front of the principal.
Ooh.
I got jacked in 3rd grade. Like, give me this pin, ma'am. No voice recorder for you.
How dare he?
Yes.
That is... Okay, first of all, cranky old adults who don't let kids have fun can go get effed. I say that as someone who is a former mentor and coach and has worked with youth for a long, extensively. That was my background for over probably 15 years. I babysat from the time I was old enough and allowed. Like, stop it. Let kids be kids and have fun. Like, He should have been like high-fiving you and been like, okay, Miss Keela, just make sure that we're only using that when it's appropriate, and that's all. But instead, he went all like authoritarian.
In the cafeteria during lunch. Rude.
Cold.
Disrespectful.
That's cold-hearted. I feel like, did you get it back?
I did eventually get it back, and they gave me a warning: don't ever use this out. Like, why? But it's lunch. It's not like in the classroom. Very stingy.
Bet you that there's more like pressing issues than that Home Alone pen, than that Top Kid pen in the cafeteria, if I had a guess. But
yes. And then I upgraded my delinquency by bringing in my WizKid computer laptop during lunch too. I just was like, I was a badass back then. I would just defied everybody. Bought all my Christmas gifts.
gosh.
It was
You
educational
edgelord.
though.
No, but I was just going to actually say, this is literally what I was thinking, and forgive me if this is not your sense of humor, but I was just going to say, how dare you be a girl and be smart and bring in your smart person toy?
Yes. Because I don't want to be around other humans during lunch, respectfully speaking. I was very much alone during that time.
I'm with you. I had very specific people, and we never had lunch together after like elementary school, because everyone had, like once you got into middle school, it was like maybe you had lunch, maybe you didn't. And all my besties we would never. We went to great lengths. I remember this. My senior year, I even took a music theory class to get a class with my best friend in high school that I had to beg the guy that was teaching it, and he made me promise that I would maintain a B average in the course because I had skipped all the courses to take this just so she and I could have one class block together twice a week. And I learned a ton about music. I maintained that B, and that class was like 6 of us, and we had a freaking blast. And I think I think at the end the teacher was like, all right, I respect you, teenager who followed through on what you said you were gonna do. So
Oh my gosh.
like, oh my gosh.
But that is so true though, because I think when we hit like that middle school, high school bridge, that we all do kind of skip lunch at that point because the menu is the same. It's always a hamburger and a pizza. And like, I don't want to eat this crap anymore. So I would like,
don't forget the hot dog.
and the hot dogs, the pizza, and the hamburger. And like
The
me
world's
and a few of
worst
my friends,
hot dog.
oh God, like tastes like water. So like me and my friends, like my select crew, we would like skip lunch. We would either stay behind at gym. We would crash our like US history class. Our teacher was really nice at first, like, hey, y'all can hang out. And then she kicked us out, like, no, you can't stay here. And then our last spot was like the library. Like we just avoided the cafeteria because the food sucked. Like at that point in life, I don't want to eat. I'd rather eat something in the vending machine and call it a day. But today's children, they're so sophisticated, they call Uber Eats for lunch.
Oh my gosh. That like just, you know what? I should obviously know that, but like I didn't think about it until you just said it. It's like DoorDash for the pharmacy or whatever. I mean, it's Uber Eats for lunch. I can't even. I mean, I thought that like vending machines and I mean, even like some schools started getting like little like Pizza Hut nooks, or I mean, it was really starting to get super commercial.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, I maintain that through the COVID thing because I knew a lot of teachers, and I actually did a thing with some teachers like online and talked to them about like going back. And it was like, we all know that this isn't about keeping the kids in school, although we do use our public schools as like a really bad form of daycare. But also it was like, no, we got to pay for the vending machines and the team store. And like, it's really become kind of weird and creepy and unsafe. And I'm just like, and I can like see it starting at my time frame, but nowadays I'm just like, I hear that and I'm like, what level of capitalism is that? I just don't even know. Because I mean, at least we had to like, we struggled, man. We were like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna like go here, and I don't know. but kids are low jack now, and I don't know if I could handle it. Today's kids are kind of heroes in my mind, because I can't imagine we would like disappear for almost like a day. Like, we'd just be gone. I can't imagine having like the tracker on me that I see parents like they're like watching where their kids are all the time. I'm like, oh Jesus, I would have had to disable that on my phone. Oh, I left my phone in my car. I'm sorry. I don't know. How do they do it? All right, let's see. What is everyone saying here? Sam says, oh, Brad says I have a Whoville look. See, so similar, Christmassy. Everyone's thinking Christmas movies, but not until after Thanksgiving, we established.
Exactly. Even though I saw on the TV guide last night when I was scrolling through channels, like how the Grinch Stole Christmas was on the original OG animated version, the only one I acknowledge. I said it is not Christmas yet. It is not it's not the day after Thanksgiving yet. How dare you? But go off, TBS.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It was the minute. Oh, and then Saturday last night after Collision, they started playing Christmas Vacation. Like, because I know the music from the beginning of it. Like, I'm like, no, wrong season. All right, so we've got click here. The wise men will be missed, and then we've got Daza saying, "I'm here. We can start." Thank goodness. Yes. Welcome, Daza. I had to throw that up there because I saw that, and I was like, "Yes, we've been waiting."
For you. I was like, where's Daza? Where's my dude? Like, we can't start the show officially. Like, it's 22 minutes in. Like, now the show can begin. Like, that was the pre-show. The pre-Daza special. Just for you.
See? It worked out perfect. So we can actually talk about the wrestling that, like, the show is supposed to be about. You guys love it. It's okay. You know you do. And, of course, Keela, knowing these things, knows that we have to have these discussions in advance. So. But for those of you who do want to talk about wrestling, and it's kind of a big deal, I guess. I hear that these Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame nominations and, inductions and so forth are pretty big deal in the pro wrestling world. I don't know, something like that. But I felt like since you were going to be on today, and we had a couple of people that were WWE people, that we should talk about them. And we'll start with Roman Reigns making it after his second year, which seemed pretty obvious, apparently, from last year. It did. I mean, he didn't make it he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I think a lot of people, he was one of the people that was actually, I think what Dave said in the thing is that the people that were the top 6 that just missed it last year made it this year. So it was kind of like, okay, those guys were almost shoo-ins this year. But Roman was the top vote getter, and he went in with 66.7% of the vote. And I personally believe that he should be in, because for better or worse, especially the last few years while they've been hot, he's been the big draw guy. Like, all the categories that are in the Observer Awards, he checks every box. Like, speak to me about our tribal chief.
Like, if you ask this question back in 2019 and say, is Roman Reigns a Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame? You would say no. Like, no. No. No one could have predicted his ascent in the last 5 years. And when you create a character from scratch that is unique, and you find your voice in the process, mind you, no one was there to watch it for the first year of it, essentially, during the pandemic, and you build this character legit with no one in the room except you, the camera people, and Jay, and at the time, Paul Heyman. That's all you have and the opponents you're working with. And then when you bring back fans, the ticket sales soar. And ever since then, he's a box office draw. He's a ratings draw. Like where he goes, there goes the people. And it's been incredible in the last 4 years or so. And yes, this story has had its ebbs and flows, its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys. We've plateaued a couple of times, but it is probably the greatest story WWE has ever told outside of McMahon versus Austin 20 plus years ago. It is consistent. It is a story with many branches to it, and Roman Reigns is at the head of it. And when you see those business metrics soar in the last 4 years during this boom period for WWE, he is directly tied to it. There's no doubt about it, being in the main events of WrestleMania and breaking box office records every single time. This guy is a legit Hall of Famer, no doubt in my mind, and it's well-deserved. And it really speaks to miracles happening, because if you go back in time when he was literally being poured over with dog food, you cannot foresee this guy being a Hall of Famer in 2024, but here we are.
It's really interesting to me because I fell away, and so during his ascent, but I have, of course, many friends who, they would tweet about it, and man, there were times when he was like the most hated person on wrestling Twitter. Like, just, oh my gosh, why are they pushing this guy? Why are they doing, like, I'm happy because I felt like, as someone that doesn't consume WWE, but is well aware and did watch for, not this year, but last year, I watched from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. I watched everything. I watched WWE for that many months and committed myself to the product and stuff, and was watching during those times. I was like, all right, I'll give them this. And the numbers are obviously there. You can't, numbers don't lie. Numbers are what they are. But it's been interesting. And as a non-WWE consumer, I would still, as a person who would be like, does X person belong here? Yes. And so it's very interesting. And, that he was the top vote getter, I guess. I thought that was interesting because he, I think people needed one more. I guess people maybe needed one more year to see where the Bloodline storyline went. But
yeah,
I think I'm being corrected that Solo is the tribal chief right now, and I'm sorry that my canon is not as good as Keela's will probably be. But that's in current storyline. But the person who carried that one, and I am happy for Shingo Takagi. That's an honorable mention for me. Just to throw that out there because I love him, and I'm super, super duper glad that he got in.
Me too.
But I want to transition to I'm kind of go out of nope, it's in order. So Becky did not make it in this year. This is her second year on the ballot. But she did get, let's see here, I had it because she was a little down the road here. Where are you, Becky? Becky Lynch. She got 115 votes, and she went from her first year, she had 23%. This year, 25.2%. I believe Becky is a Hall of Famer. I was at the WrestleMania where she inserted herself in the storyline that they wanted her to not be in, or what. I was watching when she made herself the man. You said it about unique characters. What do you think about Becky? What are your thoughts here as a Hall of Fame in the Hall of Fame conversation that we are having?
She is a Hall of Famer. I don't know when she's going to go in. I think, as someone alluded to, I think Dave mentioned on the show Wednesday with Brian, next year, it might be like Cooperstown. Nobody might not go in the next few years. It's possible because the modern era, it's going to be harder to find the names. But I do think because of that, we're going to be able to see Becky's numbers go up, because you will see the resume for itself, the records she has broken, her being a legit main eventer, her being a ratings mover everywhere she goes. When she's advertised for an NXT, she pulls nearly 1 million viewers to her matches. So when you have that status of how she elevates people that she works with and also making everything around her better, yeah, she's an absolute Hall of Famer. Now, I do think that WWE dropped the ball when she initially returned in 2021, but when she went back to being a baby face, like in late 2022, you really saw, like, yes, she is the man for a reason. Like, that is why people connected to her, because she came from the roots up out of nowhere. It was an organic push that no one saw coming because she made it so. And so when you build that foundation over the years, I think in time she'll get in. Will it be next year? That'd be a hell of a bump from where she is now. But because of the Martin era being light for the next few years, I do see people that have been at the bottom. I think they will ascend. I think about Sting, who wasn't a Hall of Famer for a very long time, but then you saw his equity rise during his time in AEW, and you said, yeah, this dude is an absolute legend. He should be in. So I do see her getting in maybe in the next 3 or so years. I think that flexibility in terms of who's at the top of last year's ballot, those 6 moved on up. The next 6, I see Punk getting in next year. And after that, it's probably going to be Becky.
Yep. And there's also Randy Orton on this list here, which is something that needs to be discussed. So that's tricky. I mean, I think she's a Hall of Famer. I hope she gets in soon. I don't know. It's hard to know who knows about, but I mean, she is modern. So, I mean, she's more modern and she's still wrestling. So there might be some like recency bias that might work to her advantage. So, I mean, that could help too. But I was very interested because I was just reading on the Observer page that she's rumored to be probably coming back, which I don't know. I mean, I'm not, again, a WWE regular, but I didn't see her coming to AEW or doing anything else. It always seemed to me that she was just taking some time. Maybe, I know she went back to Ireland for a bit, which can be very relaxing. I assure you, I've been there. It's a wonderful place to just chill because the people and scenery is just awesome. But, I mean, totally get it. I figured she'd be back, but now it's rumored that she's coming back and that they're wrapping everything up with her. And so once she hits the Netflix, like, I wonder, hopefully, I don't know how that will work, but broader audience maybe will push voters to be like, oh yeah, okay, people are really paying attention to her. So we'll see. But she does, of course, have to re-sign, but I don't know how you feel about this, but I didn't expect her to go anywhere else.
No, I think that she was a WWE lifer. I think that she probably signed the biggest contract in women's history for WWE and maybe the industry period when it's all said and done. Like, that's the new price point until the next new price point is laid out. I mean, that's what I love. Like, the price point is going to continue to rise. And I love that for the women in this industry, that you can make $5-6 million off top and then make even more when it's time to re-up. I love that for her. So I think that she's definitely coming back. It's about what role she's going to play, because I do think that in this day and age, you don't need to be defined by a championship to be at the top of the card. I just wish there was a bit more flexibility in terms of pushing people that are not going to be in the title picture and give us those feuds. If the men can have that, so can the women. We saw that a little bit with her and Trish last year, which I enjoyed down the stretch. So I just want Becky to be able to be that star that can have the cachet to have feuds that don't involve a championship. And I want that for the ladies across the board. That yes, there's titles aplenty, but I do love blood feuds that don't involve any titles. You just want to fight because you just hate each other. And that is what I'm here for.
It'd be really fun to see some of the like current, I never thought I'd say this, but some of the current AEW storytelling applied to some of the current WWE women, because someone like Becky would fit into a storyline. I mean, it does anyway. She made her own storyline that year for WrestleMania 35. Like, it was going to be like this way, and they were like, no. And then it ended up being a 3-way main event. Like, and I mean, geez, driving in monster trucks. Like, she was amazing. it made me excited again. Because I was at that WrestleMania, so I was like, yeah, look at this girl getting in there, being like Stone Cold Steve Austin, the man. Like, I mean, really great. I hope that the stuff with WWE being on. And I would like to assure everyone, I'm not going to mention the fight that I was staying away from that entirely, but I want to reassure everybody that the number of people that were watching the boxing match that you know I'm referring to compared to the number of people that will be watching Raw are so far apart. The distance between the people watching that boxing match and the people watching Raw, you can just about squeeze into the Grand Canyon, to quote Kevin Smith. Okay? Calm down. They'll be able to carry all 1.5 million of you that are watching Raw on Monday nights. Okay?
Wow, no,
it
won't cross 2. It'll be 1.5.
Well, I'm being an AEW fan. Okay. I've got to show my bias, Keeler, or else I'm not just playing the game properly. I have to be at least a little tribal. Otherwise, I'm totally just like, they have to throw me off the internet and out of life.
Yes, we have to like ignite our tribal wars 2025 already off top. But I definitely agree that, listen, the bandwidth did not hold up for that fight on Friday because a lot of people tuned in. That $6.99 was hitting for a lot of people to watch that fight on Netflix. They didn't have the capacity. Now, I did laugh when Peacock says, so how was everyone's night last night? Like, we don't have that problem over here. We stream the Olympics and football with no problem. So, like, bet. So Netflix, y'all do got to get it together. You really
They're like,
do.
We're NBC Universal, but have a nice day.
Our technology can handle this stuff. Yours can't. So Netflix, y'all gonna be all right. But y'all do need to invest in better internet because damn, that was something.
It was so much fun. Honestly, I didn't watch the fight. I watched everyone losing their mind about the fight dropping out. We put it on, like Bob put it on. I was like, are you really going to do this? And then I remembered that what a good friend of mine once told me is that none of us want to admit it, but everybody loves a good freak show. And I was like,
yeah. Especially for the point of entry. Like, you're paying between $6.99 and $20 for 4 screens. Yeah. Of course, you're gonna go in
Netflix. So it wasn't like, this is not like, oh, I went and paid for Netflix for this. I've been a Netflix subscriber for, listen, like back when they were like Miami Connection and stuff was still on there. It didn't cost like $8 million to buy it. Okay, it was still like no one knew what that was.
Exactly. I was around when they still sold, guys, DVDs. And you could rent them in the mail and they'll come in and you can keep them and then you can mail them back. That's how old I am. That's how old Netflix is.
We had the GameStop. We had the video game version of that.
Yes.
What was it? It wasn't called GameStop. It was called GameFly. That's what it was. You did the same thing. You rented the video game and it said they sent it to you in an envelope and you played it for as long as you wanted and then you sent it back and got a new one.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Now it's all digital. Isn't that crazy? That went from that to that in like 6 years or something.
Yes. It went from like we were a DVD business to a streaming giant powerhouse.
Oh, wow.
Like, holy crap.
It was like P2P. Like, it went from Napster to Netflix in like light speed almost. It's crazy. But yes, so anyway, back to all of these things that we were talking about. Yeah. Back to Becky real quick is that I love that she's going to sign this because like you pointed out, it's going to make all the women better off because now, I mean, again, Mercedes was great. A lot of these big pickups where women are making what they're making what the men make. They're getting the contracts that the men are getting, or at least closer. Mm-hmm. We're taking steps in the proper direction to see women and women in sports. I mean, they will never obviously have like a Players Union, but women's sports is growing, folks. Like the WNBA is huge right now. the like women's Final Four outdrew the men's Final Four this year a bunch. Like, things are changing. I think what people want to see. I think what happened to a lot of men's sports is it got so played out with like the branding and the sort of like almost worked feeling of it. That people got to the point where they were like it used to be that I didn't watch the NBA much, but I did watch the NCAA, and this was the same for football because I liked football and I liked basketball, and they were actually playing the game. But then those got kind of co-opted by corporations, and Lord knows what happened with, I mean, NCAA sports is an abomination, like the way that they broke everything up with those things. It's like the reason I like junior hockey better a little bit, because I don't know, it's still the game. It's still raw. It's like indie, I guess it's like indie wrestling. It's raw. It's still got like the game to it. You still feel like you're in the gymnasium and you're rooting for your team, and I like that feeling. So
yeah,
because I'm a sports, I was just to kind of circle back to our conversation, as a jock, as a varsity soccer player for 4 years, the jock privilege thing is totally true, dudes. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was like really nice and used to use it for good because I didn't get along with other jocks. Like, I was one of these weird people that like I was like a theater kid in the off season. Everybody else like played a winter sport. I did theater. So I kind of had a weird intersection of people that were constant, that I was like rolling with all the time. And it was a very interesting time for me. So I always just kind of found it funny where I was like, oh, I'm going to exact my jock privilege here and be like, hey, so you like us a lot. Can we use the journalism room? And this was me and my other friend who was on the men's varsity team. She really loved us, and she would literally give us the key to the journalism room, and us and our friends would be able to go hang there. Because once we graduated out of the library and all of those other places. So I'm sorry to say that I did invoke it on occasion, but it was so that me and my nerd friends could all hang out and talk about like comics and movies and share our magazines. And magazines, for those of you who are too young, are these pieces of paper.
Oh my God.
That were actually, they were periodicals. They were put together, and they had stories like on the internet, but in a paper form. And it was kind of glossy paper.
Look at Mel describing the archaic magazine. And when you open it, it had words in it and pretty pictures.
Tons
illustrations, tons of pictures and illustrations. And sometimes they were thicker than a phone book, but now they're like thinner than like, what would be the analogy? It'd be like thinner than wallpaper, essentially.
Yeah.
It's super thin. Like, I go to the newsstand now at the grocery store, and these magazines, unless it's Vogue, it's like, wow, it's like 50 pages for a magazine now. This is ridiculous.
Oh, that seems so weird. And they were so expensive too. I mean, it was expensive to buy a magazine. Like all those tests you take on Facebook, guys, all those like, what kind of like spirit, like what's your spirit gem or whatever? Like that was Cosmo.
Mm-hmm. Like, that was Cosmo. And now
that would have been in an actual physical shiny, like Cosmo was like, if you were a girl and you didn't read Cosmo at some point, no matter what color of girl you were, I mean, in terms of like your girlness, at some point or another, you bought or were party to taking a test. Cosmo.
Yes. Either you was at your hair salon taking a Cosmo test, you bought the Cosmopolitan magazine to take the test. Yes. And now Cosmo is so salacious. They have it locked up. Like you just can't go out and get it. Like, yeah, they have Cosmo on lockdown. Yes. Because it's, for the teenagers, a little explicit. So we got to lock up the Cosmo. You got to be this age to open up the Cosmo.
So weird. I have to push this real quick because a good friend turned me onto it. It's called That Aged Great. It's a YouTube channel, and it mostly talks about movies from like the 80s and 90s. And it points out, as they say, as the past was doing its best. And it just reminds me that, like, they used to let us do and show us they didn't care. It was like, even the WWE magazines, like, or WWF back then, like, there was tons of TNA in those.
Oh yeah,
Tons.
tons.
They
The
would,
pull-out
those
posters.
would be locked up now.
Yes, the pull-out posters, insanity. My mom, like, she would like be so irritated with me because I would say, "Mom, I need to go to CVS to get WWF magazine." She's, "What? What's that?" It's a magazine for wrestling that comes out every month. I want to get the Raw magazine and I want to get the WWE magazine when they flipped over. And every month, you always had a pinup of a WWE diva. And I was wondering to myself, wow, if this was today, that magazine would be locked up.
Locked up. Gosh, I didn't even think of it, but yeah, I mean, because, you know, our Puritan roots are really coming back around.
Yes.
Man, they really are. All right, let's see. All right, let's look at some of these comments here. We had Dowza, of course, had to give us a film, a Christmas film, the British film Last Christmas, must see, especially for George Michael fans. Well, I'm a Zack Sabre Jr. fan, so I'm obviously a George Michael fan, so one and the same. Let's see here. Let's see. Here we go. Seeing the Bucks get in despite not getting the backing of the retired wrestlers is great to see. If anyone deserved to get into them, their influence and impact on the sport is immeasurable. I agree greatly with you, Brad. This is where I make my case of, if the Bucks are in, the Motor City Machine Guns should be in, because the team that made the program that you watch on Wednesday and Saturday night together should probably be in there, but because they wrestle in ROH, they don't qualify, and I find that offensive, and that's my beef, and I will stick to that.
Yes, it's very, very sad. Listen, we're going to reconvene one day and they will get their due.
I was going to ask you this, like, because some people are torn. So there's the camp of people who think that them going to WWE hurts their chances to get in later. And there's the camp of it'll help their chance. What do you think? Since we're talking Hall of Fame.
It'll help. AJ Styles says hello. It'll help. It'll build on what you've already done. He did the New Japan to WWE, and guess what? Hall of Famer. So I think that for all the work they have done over the years, Shelley and Sabin deserve this opportunity to get that WWE bag in the prime of their careers. And I think that the tag team division on SmackDown is about to get very fascinating with tag teams who are kind of pissed they're there in storyline. Like, who the hell are you? We've been fighting and clawing for years, and here you go 3 weeks in the game and you are champions. Like, I think that is going to be the big test, to be like this beautiful molding ground for like Motor City versus DIY versus Street Profits versus eventually the Usos. Like, that foundation is going to be so cool. And then you bring in Axiom and Fraser from NXT. Like, all of this potentially could be like, this is the case as to why they are Hall of Famers. You need this run in WWE, and they have a core tag team division you can build around on SmackDown to do it. So I say, in maybe the next 2 to 3 years, they can get in. And I think this WWE run is going to be the way to facilitate that in a bigger way. Yes, what they've done on the indie scene and Ring of Honor and TNA has been incredible. But I think in the twilight years, building this division as vets amongst tag teams who've been there for a while, that's even better. And they're all seasoned. They're not rookies. They're all experienced tag team wrestlers. And I think this will be a great test for them to eventually get in the Hall of Fame. It's still early days in this, but that is why I think it'll build their case down the road.
That's awesome. If they are actually going to push all those tag teams, I might be watching SmackDown's tag episodes.
Yeah, they're building it.
I just every single one of those tag teams you just named. I mean, I don't know Axiom very well, but I know DIY and Street Profits are high on my tag team lists of awesome. So I mean, yeah, that's okay, cool. That's what I like to hear, because obviously Sam and I are big on them being in the argument, and I think John Muse like totally has agreed with us. He's thrown that out there before. So agree, Daza. Yay, Johnny Saint. I think Johnny Saint. It's for no other reason than his influence on a lot of modern wrestlers. I mean, we go to Colt Cabana and people like that, but Zack Sabre definitely highly influenced by World of Sport and the Johnny Saint types. I think that, you know, I know that there's arguments about like there's more popular, there were more famous. I think that the bloke that Garrett and Dave spoke with actually mentioned that he wasn't as big of a deal as, say, someone like Haystacks, or for those of you who are familiar with British World of Sport and that kind of wrestling, which I've actually like read the book and I've watched a few matches here and there, and it's a super interesting time in wrestling history and in Euro wrestling history. I was actually excited because he's been someone I've been pulling for years. So when I saw that he got in, I was very excited about that. Let's see. We got Brad's got Shingo, the Bucks, and Seema going in together with their history in Dragon Gate is great. Without Seema and Dragon Gate, there'd be no Bucks. Again, another one that, and Seema was another one that was so close last year. I mean, it was silly. Like, it was like a few votes. So what's we got here? How do you all feel about Asuka going to AEW when her contract expires? Keelan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's a WWE lifer, and it's like, it'll be great if it happened, but the likelihood of it actually happening is very, very low. I think that she's also in like the twilight years of her career, and I think that she would get one more big WWE bag and call it a day, because she's been there for what, almost 10 years, which is insane.
I know, isn't that nuts?
It's been insane. And like, she's had a run that has been great, has had its ups and downs that I didn't love, but when you look at it, she's done everything you possibly could do. And I think an AEW run would be great, but I just think their division needs way more TLC before she even makes that leap, if she chose to do so. I just think that in WWE, there's more tenure there, and they will give her the money.
I tend to agree. I see her going back to New Japan, or not New Japan, but just going home to Japan before she would sign with a different company. Just being like, that's it, I'm done, I'm retiring, I'm going back to Osaka, I'm gonna hang out and enjoy my girls. Like, but I tend to agree with that. I don't see her making, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. Let's see. The women's fight on that show was awesome. Was that on the boxing show we were talking about, Daza? Let's see. I was sitting in my corner, streaming Deadpool and Wolverine on Disney Plus, and had no issues during the fight. Well, you and nobody else, Brad, okay? The entire internet. We should all be in a freaking uproar. How could they possibly carry Raw in January? Totally being... What do you not? Okay, when you say you're an orphan, if you don't know what Miami Connection is, Brad, you need to find Miami Connection and watch it. It is such a classic bad movie. It's one of those bad good movies. I can't explain it to you. You have to see it for yourself. Have you seen Miami Connection by any chance, Keela?
I'm also an orphan like Brad. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's a very unique film that was, it ended up being one of those things that one of our friends on a podcast found for us. Because we used to do on one of my shows, we used to do a little segment called Fucked Up Flicks. And the point was we were finding movies that were very obscure and very art, and we were exchanging them with each other. And the four of us would each give, we would rotate and watch one and talk about it. And our friends from another podcast suggested Miami Connection. And let's just say that, like, if you enjoy things like Break-In or some things in the vein where there was like dance fights and singing and ninjas. It's excellent. It's an excellent, like, if you liked canon movies, if you're, I mean, anything like that, it's very, very it's a little hard to try and I don't want to wreck anything, because if you do enjoy that sort of thing, like, I think as pro wrestling fans, you'd both enjoy it. I think you'd get an enormous kick out of it. There are a couple of actually like live song performances in it that you would both, I think, appreciate a great deal. So that's all I can say here. Let's see. Delta says we still need to chat British wrestling. Someday we will get there, I promise. Okay. So you said, but I'm an orphan. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Got you. Okay.
I'm the only orphan here now, officially.
It's okay. I have a meme, Brad, of oh my God. So I'll send it to you. You would, I think, Keela, you have the right, like, you would definitely benefit from enjoying this flick.
All right, I'm here for it. I'm
because you
definitely
have
gonna tune in.
it's again, like, it's me and Brad. I mean, you can't go wrong.
I trust you guys.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's some very hilarious moments. Asuka just resigned. She said she isn't going anywhere. Praised Triple H, Charlotte, and Becky, and said if it wasn't for Triple H, she would have retired because of what she dealt with in Japan. So there you go. I mean, that seems, if that's the truth, then that's the truth. It's okay, Sam. Now, here's what. Okay, so now we have a future assignment for our official bombshells, is that Sam and Keela now need to sometime, not like immediately, but sometime in the future, we need to have a Miami connection. We'll do a little fun Miami connection thing, or we'll talk about it at some point once you two give it a watch.
I'm Googling right now to see where I can watch it.
It makes me mad because it was one of those movies that was like on Netflix, and now it's probably like Criterion Collection, Alamo House Flick Blood. It's probably like so expensive to like buy it or watch it or whatever.
Ooh, actually, no, it's actually no. I can watch it on Pluto TV.
Yes,
and Amazon Prime Video. So I'm excited.
Me too, and I'm excited to know that because I've been like really, really wanting to watch it lately, and I was like, I need to look that up because it keeps coming up in jokes with my friends and I recently. So I feel like you will enjoy it.
All right.
There's ninjas, okay?
Oh, I'm already sold. Ninjas. I love them. So like I would definitely watch this. And for the next time we're on the show, it's got to be me and Sam and you, and we will have a Miami connection powwow.
We'll have a connection.
Yes.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see. Brad says, this is one of the most insane, ridiculous movies I've ever seen. A must see for any so bad it's great movie lover. That's exactly right. It is. But I feel like because you guys enjoyed things like Talking Shop of Mania, you would enjoy this too, because it's like a movie version of it. And like they're really trying. That's the best part. You know what I mean? It's one of those so bad it's good, and they're really trying ones, not like it's trying to be bad. It's amazing. And there we go. Sam was just about to ask. We've now updated you. That was your Miami Connection Minute, your film sidebar. Thank you, Daza. He's got movie lover right in the title, folks. And also, well, I mean, it came off of his movie, and I mentioned it, but yes, you guys will enjoy it. I think you guys will have fun with it. It's so silly. It's just, do not go into it thinking you're watching some high-end film. This is definitely one of those so bad it's great.
So Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, this is not.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm just verifying.
Fantastic. Yeah. Definitely. Actually, you know what? We were just talking about Thanksgiving a little while ago, and like, I know for me, like, usually I would like watch the Star Wars trilogy on Thanksgiving, and then TNT sort of stole that from some of us, and it's like, what'd you do that for? So, but in terms of like fun, like chill Thanksgiving, that like weekend where you're looking for stuff that's like pre-Christmas or whatever, that is a fun kickback for almost 2 hours. It's not quite 2 hours, and just laugh your behind off because of the silliness. So, all right. So let's see. I don't think. Yes, I did. I mentioned that. So I think that concludes our Hall of Fame discussions for the day. And if you want more on that, everyone else on every other podcast for the last week has been talking about it. And I believe that Pat LaPrade even joined David Garrett last night for their show that they did. So check all that out. And other people on our network, which let me show you it. That network right there, that Fight Game Media Network. So let's talk Divided Empire. It's on the picture, so we have to talk about it. We are getting Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay at Full Gear. Thoughts, feels.
Show stealer automatically. I'm here for it. I love this feud. Kyle Fletcher a few weeks ago on Dynamite, I said this dude is such an asshole and just give him time to talk. He's fantastic. But what I love about him is he's not lying about Will Ospreay. Like, dude, I was around you. I saw you backstab your friends on multiple occasions. You wasn't getting me. I got you first. And I knew this was going to happen way back over the summer. I just thought to myself, Tony, don't do it at All In. Don't do it in Wembley. Don't do it there. Save it for later. And they waited patiently, which I appreciated. And I love the haircut too. I had to get used to it. It does give him a distinct look. He's not generic by any stretch of the imagination. It actually made him look a bit more rugged and badass. And Will Ospreay, I think that he is one of the very few that have this innate connection with the crowd and they love him. And he did speak his truth. Like, yeah, I did that stuff. I sure did. And like, I took you in when no one else wanted you. And look where you are now. Look where I am. And I do love that beef. And I do like the fact that Will's not running away from what he's done and he's taking ownership of it. I love how they've built this feud and how you could tell in the months leading into it, this was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's how you plant the seeds. That's why you're not shocked that this happened, because you had a feeling down the road it was going to be. And I think this is going to be a great match, might be the best overall match on the show at Full Gear. Like, Will Ospreay's had a career year of having match of the year candidate after match of the year candidate. And this match will fit in that category just nicely. Career best performance incoming for Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, it's his to lose, as they say. I mean, this is like the biggest match ever for him. And so, I mean, I don't think he's not going to show out because he's great. And I mean, you know, if you're a New Japan nerd, you know that he's been one of the people that's been behind Fletcher. He's been helping to, like, you know, work with him and help improve him because he sees the potential. I mean, the United Empire is kind of a fun, like, Will Ospreay project in a way, where he sort of was like, these are all awesome wrestlers, let's have a faction. And New Japan was like, well, we trust you because you're amazing. So, okay. And I love, I got to see Kyle Fletcher here when they did Dynamite here the second time in Detroit. And what the best part was, and because I remember messaging back and forth with John Muse this day, we were both like, the crowd totally popped for Fletcher. They totally knew who he was. Like, there was no, who the heck is this guy? Like, people knew who he was. There was a little bit of like lukewarm reaction to his, the promo that he was cutting from the ramp area on this week, but I think that was just the crowd. I don't think that was him, because he was fine. It just felt like a weird, I don't know where the heck all they were, but it's like, have you guys seen a wrestling show before? Or?
Yeah, Bridgeport was kind of whack. crowd.
Oh, is that where they were?
Yes,
That makes total okay. As
and
the
then
North,
Swerve said
okay,
we're in Stanford. And they was like, no, we're Bridgeport. Oh, that's when you want to get loud. Okay.
okay, I get it. Nope, that totally. Connecticut is one of the weirdest. I don't even. It only exists because you need something long and boring to drive across to get to New Jersey from the
Oh,
Northeast.
wow.
Yeah, shots fired. Connecticut. Come at me.
Connecticut.
I have, as someone who used to drive home from the DC area to get to southern Maine, Connecticut is like the worst. It's long and flat, and there's nothing to see. Like WWE headquarters. No,
That's the only historical landmark there.
you know what? It makes total sense. My dad worked in Hartford for a while, so I mean, you know what? That cleared everything up for me. I totally get it. All right, nope, totally Connecticut problem. So yeah, I mean, they were great, and that, I mean, in any other city that was not in Connecticut, that would have went over perfectly. And that includes a city in Ohio, and I'm from Michigan, and that's not cool, man. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my beef on Connecticut.
Mel versus the state of Connecticut is my favorite feud of 2024.
Okay, hey, you know, we got to wrap up I'm hoping to wrap up the year strong. So.
Yes, you like the last quarter of 2024. Mel's got like beef on her list. Connecticut beef. NFC North beef.
Me versus the longest stretch of I-95 on the northeast coast. I still hate you. I'm still bitter.
F you and all of your toll booths.
Yes. Straight up, toll booths are the devil. I'm not paying your taxes for you, you jerks. Anyway, so that went off key. Anyway, so what we were really talking about was Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay are finally having their match on Full Gear, and I kind of you just said it, and it reminded me a little bit of the fact that so last night they did the November Rain thing, where they did a recap of everything that's gone on over the last several months, using the infamous to many of us November Rain song by Guns N' Roses that was on their later, I think, third album, because I feel like there was an album before Appetite for Destruction, but I could be wrong. And it was, for some of us who watched MTV religiously at that time, such a revolutionary music video and song, because it was all long and it was Guns N' Roses and they were metal, but then they were doing like stringed instruments and roses and crazy things and stuff. And so Tony paid for that, which, good job. And he used it to do a recap of the entire everything building up to Full Gear. And I loved it. I mean, I thought that there was a little too much like talking over the, like, I think it was just, I personally, and this is just like my own little like thing, is like, I just would have edited the music a little differently against the talking, but just so that the verses were in between the people talking so that they weren't like getting mixed up. But that's such a like nitpicky thing to be on about a wrestling show that just like bought November Rain to do a recap for their pay-per-view. I thought this was great. People give out to them all the time about not doing build for their shows. I mean, I don't know what to tell. Like, this was really cool. I thought it was a really fun thing that they did.
Yeah, I think they're going back to the basics of what made them great in the beginning, which is storytelling. And that is laying the foundational pieces of what makes a story great. And when you have the perk of buying really expensive music with your new shiny contract extension, you do that. And I do agree that sometimes you have to let the video breathe and let the lyrics speak for itself and let the montage kind of flow with the music a bit better. But that's going to be learned over time. But I thought they did a great job illustrating the story. And that is going to be the key for AEW moving forward. Yeah, you can do video packages. You don't have to run them on the pay-per-view because it's already bought. Like, you don't have to do like with the WWE technique for their PLEs. And I think that even WWE's fallen back on that because you only see that if you have Peacock Premium Plus. You don't see that if you have regular Peacock. You just see commercials. So you don't have to be sold on the match anymore. Like, you already know what you're getting. But for the TV, you need that. You need that hook. You need that time, those 2 minutes to really illustrate that via a video package with really nice, expensive music.
Yeah. That makes an impact. More, it just makes... Okay, Sam's giving me crap here, so I'm going to throw this up here because no mention of Will going off script in the promo, 0 out of 10. Well, this is why I need you to come back here, okay? I am lost without you, girl. I'm wandering in the desert here, okay? I'm like Bryan Danielson or something. Didn't he send somebody else to wander in the desert? Anyway. Okay. So, Will went off.
She says, I meant Will and Kyle, not y'all.
Uh-oh.
Like, Sam has her red ink pen and like, I despise this. And she would have said it on the show.
Us going out, she's making sure that I know what you meant. I know you weren't mad at us going off script because we go off script all the time. That's what we do. It's half of our gimmick.
Yes, it's what we do. I'm keeping the tradition alive of we just going off the rails.
Oh man. Okay, so I kind of know about this, but I don't know if I know enough to tell it right. So I feel bad about that. But do you know enough about the off-script thing, or should we just kind of like let Sam fill us in on this?
Sam can fill us in because I don't want to butcher it.
I don't want to mess it up. So I'm really sorry, Sam. Shame, Bell. So Vinkin says that Great O'Con is great. I totally agree with that. What is this on? This must be on the Guns N' Roses. There was an EP called Lies. Okay, so that must have been before Appetite for Destruction. Sorry, this does go back to the way back. I think it was funny because I was listening to or reading some Twitter folks talk about this, and they were all like, I'd never heard of it because, people were younger and everything else. And so us people my age were pointing people in the younger generations to the video and all of the background and so forth. So I'm really glad that a lot of you millennials or younger, actually, it's got to be younger than millennials. It's got to be like Gen Z, right? Because you would technically be a millennial, I would imagine.
Yes, I'm like right on the edge.
And you know November Rain. You're not like. Yes or no? Am I wrong?
I was like a baby.
Oh, okay. So did you learn a lot about Guns N' Roses this week then?
Yes, I was well educated. Now listen, I knew about Guns N' Roses as I got older. Like, that was not my first introduction, but I was a wee little thing when it first came out.
Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. So did you get to check out the video? Have you seen the video in the past? The original November Rain video?
Yes.
With the strings and the roses and the sadness and the drama and the cinematic Axl Rosary.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I love how you made it up, Axl Rosary of it all.
That just happened. So that's secret brilliance. But all right, what do we got? Brad saying anyone who continues to say AEW doesn't have stories, show them November Rain video and ask them to point out which dude doesn't have a story. That is true, though. I mean, no matter how you like, whether you liked the editing or not, they have done a really nice job. I will give them credit. And some of it, they've like gone through some really bad weeks, but stuck with it. So I think that's fair. Let's see. Sam says it's the theme for Full Gear 2. It was an homage to ECW 2. Some say also because NXT ran 2300 Arena. That makes sense. Because 2300 Arena is where ECW used to run in Philadelphia, for those who don't So, yeah, let's see. Oh, Daz is giving us some more. So we're learning more about Guns N' Roses this week. Lies came out after Appetite for Destruction and before Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, which both came out the same day and featured November Rain. Thank you, Daza. I greatly appreciate that. I knew it was a double album, but I couldn't remember the name of it. So, and he says he doesn't get to share his knowledge that much these days. Well, we greatly appreciate it because I personally, as someone who was not, I was actually a teenager and was rocking out to Welcome to the Jungle when I was driving, like, totally appreciate, educating the younger generation to our silly rock bands that we liked at the time. Let's see. Sam said, video of Will going off script that went viral. I heard about it, but I don't know enough about it that I feel comfortable being like, what did you do something bad, Sam? Because we might have to wait till you get bad to talk about it. Will has a history of things
Doing
that people don't.
Things.
Yeah, I mean, we all need to remember, no matter what. I love Will Ospreay as much as the next person, but he was named in Speaking Out, and we do need to acknowledge that also. So, and Venkin says he's saying that because of his King of Pro Wrestling defense today. Oh, okay, so that makes sense. All right, I'm caught up. I think I am caught up. All right.
Yes, everything has been caught up in terms of the messages.
Cost and we are well educated about the roses and the guns. So, all right. What? I think I got everything. Okay, so real quick here. Other than, well, okay. I guess we should mention real quick that as of right now, there is only one ladies card or ladies match on the Full Gear card. There's a week left. I will say what Sam always says, which is we need to be cautiously optimistic that Tony understands that he can have more than one women's match on the actual physical card and not on the other stuff. I don't know if there's a scrum this week and if Sam feels up to doing it and tweeting it. If she does, we will let you know. And that is on our Powerbombshells account where she usually, she does it from her account, but I will retweet it from our Powerbombshells account if you guys want to see it. If she does decide to do it, which she can let us know at some point. And.
Oh, we got the answer to the question.
Oh, there we go. Question to the answer. Let's see. No, some account that knows nothing about wrestling thought he went off script when he did a hidden blade on his opponent after a match at Rev Pro. The tweet said, oh, you're talking about the people that don't know that pro wrestling isn't actually, that it's scripted. Yes, I did see this video. It was way back at the beginning of the week. That's why I don't remember. Yes.
Yes, because some people they need to go outside and touch grass.
That's right. That's
right. That's why we forgot. Because
so
I was wondering what did Will say that was so blasphemous, but now it's like,
no, it was first of all, it was like the beginning of the week. I should have written it down, Sam. That's what happened. I should have written it down that when I saw it. Yes. There was a video of him doing a move on Kyle Fletcher that was us what we watch. And there was an account that decided that wrestling is real.
It is real, damn it. It is.
Finally, I guess
all these years.
We've all been vindicated. Wrestling is in fact not fake. Okay, Bank is great here. Yeah, the mad Kurt in the back of the head over and over. Oh, okay. So I was the clip of him hitting Mad Kurt in the back of the head over and over. All right. Yeah. He didn't go off script for that either. It doesn't change it really. So Sam says, Will and Kyle referenced it on Twitter. Kyle said he should be in jail because someone said it in the replies. Neither referenced it on TV. 0 out of 10. All right. Okay. That makes total sense. You're right. They missed opportunity. Definitely.
Actually, if they did that, that would have been probably one of the funniest wrestling segments of the year.
It would have been so meta.
If Kyle mentioned that with a straight face and said, "Oh, by the way, you shooter." your shoot hidden blade. Wait, shoot on me, Will, shoot on me.
He totally should have.
Should have said that in hindsight.
Oh my gosh. Give him time. He's still doing it. Oh my god. Oh, this is just.
And you throw that in the November raid promo, it would have been amazing.
With a big headline. Wrestling goes off script.
Okay. I didn't mean to pop myself, but when you think about it, like Kyle should have used that in the promo.
He really should have. They all should be. That's oh my gosh.
Oh, it would have been so dickish.
Mad Kurt would be smiling down from heaven to see how the clip went viral. Yeah, and Sam agrees. So this is oh man. What just thank you, internet, for being you. Sometimes you really screw it up, but sometimes you give us a moment of absolute joy that can't be matched. And I mean, come on. Thinking that, ooh, that was a real hidden yeah, it wasn't. It so wasn't. Let's see. Bobby Lashley versus Swerve. Do you want to mention that? That is going to happen, and I'm very excited for that match. The full gear card looks good. It looks really, really good. It's a really good show. Everything does feel built. I would like to see a different, more than one women's match on there. There could be other women's matches. You kind of said it when we were talking, is instead of putting it on the pay-per-view, we're going to put it on Collision last night.
I was like, what are we doing? Like Anna Jay and Mariah would have killed it on the pay-per-view.
It was a no DQ, like lights out, like it was like a street fight. That is custom made for a pay-per-view.
Fans would have ate it up. It would have been great. Lots of heat to it.
I don't understand. It was like, I mean, I appreciate that you're giving me this for free, but why in the hell are you giving this to me for free?
Exactly.
You have a pay-per-view in a week.
Let me pay for it. I want to see like that on a bigger stage with more heat on top of it. So I was like, I understand it because you want to like spread out the card and let things breathe. But in that case, you put your championship matches on the pay-per-view and you build it up, and you can do 2 matches that would have been great in their own right. The street fight and Mercedes versus
Stat.
And then look at their feud.
Those would be I don't understand. To me, that it doesn't make sense. It makes even less sense now that I'm sitting here saying it than it did last night when I was watching it. It's what do we got here? It got little Miss Timekeeper over here. No, it got 14.5 minutes and they're doing Mariah's celebration instead, unless we're getting an impromptu match. And again, she gives that a 0 out of 10, which I greatly agree with. They could have given them like 20 on the pay-per-view and had one hell of a match, and that would have been a good like match somewhere in the middle of the card to, like you said, to break the card up, because it's, even though it's still, I guess the law is only one per pay-per-view and whatever. It's weird that they were like, we'll have it headline Collision, but we won't have it on the pay-per-view or headline Dynamite. I don't know, But anyway, here, let's see what Brad has to say here. I need Anna Jay to go on one more excursion to Japan, but instead of Stardom, it needs to be the deathmatch company Freedoms. And she needs to challenge deathmatch legend Jun Kasai to a match. Now, I do know who Jun Kasai is, so I'm not going to sit here and lie. I love deathmatch wrestling, so I mean, I've watched my fair share of FMW and so forth. My friend got me into shoot wrestling and all kinds of other stuff. So I'm there. I'm with you, Brad. I can get with that.
I dig the violence too. Anna Jay's excursion to Stardom has actually done wonders
Yes.
for her, because like now you see the growth. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought that she got stagnant in AEW. She goes overseas, ups her game, comes back better than ever. Like, this is the Anna Jay that I saw 4 years ago in Atlanta, and I said, that's somebody that's got it. And now, like, you go over there and you work with great workers and you come back and you bring what you learn. It's like, oh, there she is. There's that Anna Jay. Like, there's a future champion in the making. I'm so happy that she got the chance to do that this year.
I think she really clearly capitalized on it, because you can see it. Her confidence has definitely gone
way up.
I mean, that was almost a different person. And especially as she got into the match, like, gosh, that's so frustrating. That was such a good match. Like, it really deserved a more. I mean, I know it was the main event of Collision, but I don't know. That's what your C show at this point, or it's your without, because Rampage is going away, so I guess it's your B show. I know they don't want to do that when both shows are the same, but they're not. I mean, there was a time it was just like with Rampage where I liked Collision better than I liked Dynamite, but that time went away. So I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I still think it belonged on the pay-per-view, and hopefully that builds to more stuff and they do more women's, like they let the women spread their wings more in terms of what they want to do for wrestling matches, not just like singles. Or, I mean, I know that we're obviously pro women's blood and guts, but even like a women's anarchy in the arena or something. I don't know. Or maybe Marina will get involved in the one that we talked about, our one that we fantasy booked last week.
Yes, I would love that so much.
All right. And Sam says ROH has a street fight with Diamante and Red Velvet that main evented for 11 minutes. It was pretty cool. Right on. Sweet. So I hope all 12 of you enjoyed it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, I love you, Sam.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean that in the nicest way possible, because once again, I believe that they are holding a lot of people behind that paywall
that should be free.
And it's just like, please, for the love of all things network and content, let there be a deal for ROH somewhere. I don't care if it's True TV. Who cares?
I don't care. It's cable.
I could DVR it if I can't watch it live. Like, who cares?
I don't care. True TV, Food Network,
Yeah,
the most oddball channel in the Discovery catalog of channels.
How about I know Magnolia is really family oriented, but maybe we can get James to like pull some strings over. I think he knows people over there, doesn't he? You imagine? Magnolia Home Network. I bet, you know what? I bet Chip Gaines is a secret wrestling fan. I see it. I can see it. But anyway, for those of you who even know what the heck I'm talking about, and I can't believe I even know what I'm talking about, so I'm a little ashamed. So let's see. So Sam's letting you know that we do talk about the 12 of us. And I believe someone made a joke about, I think it was someone like Jeff Hawkins or someone along that line that actually made that joke on Twitter or on one of their podcasts. So I've always kept it up. At least the women more time this week. Brad says last week AEW had 10 minutes of women's matches across 3 shows and were dragged for it. This week was so much better. I agree. I mean, take what we can get. Baby steps.
We're getting there. I think it was a good week for WWE and AEW. WWE had the rare case of each match for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, opening and closing with the women's match, and AEW
Ooh.
doing way better. So it was a good week for women's wrestling in terms of
And then-
equity.
And then the possibility, good possibility that Becky's about to sign a big giant deal that will make everything to this. Okay, so we're going to chalk this up to a good week, even though that should have been on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, for sure.
I
We'll
think
take
we all
it.
agree, but it's just like change takes time. Change takes time. Let's see. I'll have to do a writing question instead of asking him directly. He's probably glad you can't talk, Sam. I'm not going to lie.
He says, "Oh, Samantha's about to get on my ass again. What she's going to ask me this time?"
He's like, Stephanie Shipley's lost her voice, and sorry, that's her secret alt in case she ever gets kicked off there. But oh my gosh, he's gonna be like, I'm not reading this. I don't think they did 10 minutes on purpose, but it was not a good look at all. Oh, you know, I mean, it is what it is. She says, uh-oh. See, she will, as to quote a Knight's Tale on Paul Bettany's character, I will eviscerate you in fiction, except it will be nonfiction instead. So, Sam will destroy you in text.
Yes, Anthony. Now
and
you know
will do it.
You know she's serious when she's Anthony and not Tony.
She said Anthony. She used his full name.
Anthony Khan. I will get on that IS.
I'm putting Sam's thing right here so you guys can read her stuff. She does. Sam's not only is her SEO excellent, she writes excellent articles. So it's like cause and effect, obviously, but so and you can always catch them here because I encourage her to retweet them, or I do from here at our Powerbombshells account. But just because she can't talk doesn't mean she can't write. I think people with a pen are more dangerous. The pen is mightier than the sword. Okay.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like
that's
written
out
words
there.
are powerful.
I didn't just make that up, and Abraham Lincoln didn't say it either.
And Mel's taking credit for a phrase that's hundreds of years old.
I have no idea. I said it first, but it wasn't
Trademark
Abraham Lincoln.
Mel.
I just know it wasn't Abraham Lincoln. Okay.
Abe says, I didn't do that. I was a shooter too, like Will Ospreay, but I was not the creator of that phrase. Abe and Will are shooters, y'all. I didn't know that in life.
That joke is now going to be a thing. I hope everyone understands. You're right. I can't believe I forgot. It was at the beginning of the week, and it was so silly that I think that I forgot that someone didn't know that wrestling was fake. And I've been told so many times that wrestling is fake, like at wrestling shows by people that are in the building, and they're like, that stuff's not real though, right? And I'm like, what? I actually am not a jerk about it. I actually explain it to people and have had some really great like where the person goes, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Like that makes sense to me. Conversations usually are what I end up having way more than like you're a grown up who watches little kids stuff, which there are plenty of those people. But if you want to be a judgy jerk, that's your problem, not mine. So. Judgy jerk's gonna judgy jerk. Well, I think that's a weird place to end it, but probably the place to end it, unless you can think of anything else. Oh, pre-show next week. Follow us on the Powerbombshells account here. We might start a Blue Sky, we might not, but if we do, I'll let you know. The pre-show will be on Saturday and not Sunday, more than likely. And I will let you guys know what the time is going to be, because obviously it doesn't make sense to do a pre-show on the day after the show. Unless you're trying to be like obtuse or something, which is my brand, but not what I'm trying for really, ultimately. And I don't think that Garrett would be like, okay with that. So Gigi's like, Mel, you're not as funny as you think you are. I know. But anyway, so we will be here on Saturday, most likely at some time beforehand, so that we get you there on time, so that we don't overtalk the situation. If Sam is going to tweet the scrum this week, if there is one, I will make sure and let you guys know on the Powerbombshells account, or she will. She may be back next week. She may not be, since Keela has to hit a ratio of shows still. She might be allowed or offered the opportunity to join a pre-show, which will round out her yearly rate. Not only official, it will not only like notarize and fully pass her full-time bombshell status, but will actually complete her quota for the year. So we'll see how that goes. But obviously we want Sam to feel good, and we want to make sure that we are covering that. I do have another special guest that's going to be joining us that we haven't seen in a while, and I'm really excited because I haven't seen him physically or on video in a while, and that's a lot of fun because it's one of the few Fight Game Media folks that I've actually met IRL, which is super exciting. So stay tuned for that as well. We are here. Please subscribe to the network and enjoy Powerbombshells, and of course Keela Cash on the wrap. Go ahead and plug your plugs for us. Let us know. Let us know where to watch and listen.
Yes. So I do the wrap with my co-captain Scott Young every Tuesday and or Wednesday morning on the Fight Game Media Network. We talk about Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, along with the PLEs that go down every single month for WWE. Next up is two big shows, Survivor Series and in Vancouver, British Columbia, for Survivor Series War Games, and of course the final NXT PLE of the year deadline going down on December 7th, I believe. So a lot of shows coming up, as well as our third annual Rap Awards, where we award the best and worst in WWE for the year. Since Von Wagner is no longer in the company, who will win the third annual Von Wagner Award of Excellence? We don't know. It won't be him because he's out of there. But hey, we have to give the award to
I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I really enjoy watching the special or listening to the special shows for this network, because they're extra special.
Yes.
And they're so much fun. So I definitely, much like the Hall of Boom, I like the Rap Awards as well. I do kind of appreciate end of the year season on this network. We have some good ones. So.
I love how I popped everyone by saying Von Wagner Award because Vidkin are required. The requirements are simple. You have to be Von Wagner levels of mid. And then in like a year, you will rise above that and you will clear the Von Wagner allegations. That is the criteria. So someone in WWE will be awarded the Von Wagner Award of Excellence because you have some work to do, but there's potential there. And then Vicken says, so Nikita Lyons, well, she's in the running. She's in the running. She's a late contender. So
I mean, it's WWE, so I mean, being mid can, yeah, it could be.
Brad,
it's Jericho's favorite wrestler. Oh God, Chris Jericho, you need to go away. So
listen, I could ask that question that everybody wonders about a certain day in January, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Is he up? Is his contract up?
I don't know. I don't think so. No.
I know that they don't talk about that. It's not like regular pro sports where they kind of have that, like, no one really knows for really, really sure. But anyway, yes, definitely watch or listen to the Rap Wars. And again, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the places you listen to these things. If you go to fightgamemedia.com, we're posting at least links to everything these days. Garrett's been really he's been really on it these days. So What's this? It should be Athena. No,
It should be her main eventing.
Athena should be out from behind a paywall and on the
Yes.
television, but we don't have enough show for that today. So we've had that. We'll have to discuss that for the 800th time on a different show.
Yes, and we can petition for True TV. I said Food Network, and you know what else? HGTV. Why not? Let's just put it somewhere, okay?
Somewhere, anywhere.
Yes.
Like, anywhere. Like, True TV has nothing on it. It's fine. Put it on the Investigation Network.
I see. ID Discovery. See, ID Discovery.
People love that. They watch
Ring
murder
of Honor
porn all day. They'll be like, "Yeah, I'll just leave this on. It'll get tons of ratings."
I'm just trying to help them get a deal. Like any in the network of families, pick one.
Pick one.
Animal Planet.
Animal Planet would be amazing. If I were like the promoter or whatever, and I were on Animal Planet, do you know how much I would use that? It would be insane. The animal puns. Only Jeremy Feinstein and I would appreciate the amount of animal puns that would be involved in something like that.
And the cross promotion of Ring of Honor and the Puppy Bowl. Come on.
That's sells itself. I heard ROH got a TV deal that hasn't been announced yet. There's the rumors around. I mean, it's hard to know. It's people talk a lot in wrestling. So, yeah. Anyway, did I get everyone? I really appreciate you guys being in the chat and joining us and having a good time with us. And it's always such fun seeing you guys and having you in our chat. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate you joining me again, Keela, and helping out with holding down the ginormous microphone feud that is Sam. So it's feud with her microphone. So thank you so much once again. You're the best.
Glad to do it. I hope that Sam continues to recover and she takes her rightful spot back here very soon. But to fill this spot for 2 weeks in a row has been an honor, a privilege. And as Mel said, I will meet my quarterly annual quota sometime next week, most likely. And then I have my contract renewed for my 4 future appearances for 2025, including the Halloween edition, because that's already locked in. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, see? Yeah. No one gets to see she's ours on Halloween, folks. Sorry. Booked for days. That's like the best case scenario, too. You've got like a booking for years now.
Yes.
Okay.
Like one spot guaranteed, like the Royal Rumble. I have a spot.
Forever.
It's
perfect. All right. I love it. Best. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much once again for joining us. Love to Sam. Thanks again to Keela. And we will see you guys next week at the slightly different times. So pay attention to the Powerbombshells bird app, at least. Maybe Butterfly app will let you know. Thanks for being here. Have a great weekend.